Hello, everyone. You are welcome to the Black Female Entrepreneur Greenwich. And today is a very special day. And it is hot, 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 hot. I'm just trying to survive. We have fun here, but it's still hot. The weather has been really, I won't say it's horrible. It has been really surprising. So welcome you all to this special edition. I'm here with a special guest, and we'll be talking more about, for those of you that have looked at our social media platform, we posted a few information of what today is going to look like. Since May, I would say, since May, we have been kind of talking about the African festival. And this year, we want to actually give it a different dimension, like looking into African family, our modern family, proactive family. How do our family life incorporate into the Western, like the diaspora, those of us that are parents here and those of us that aspire parents? We want to see how what we're doing that is right, what we're doing that we need to change, what we're doing that we need to kind of equip more. And I always say, African diaspora always need the support of African back home to actually bring a better understanding of how we can make our family a better place. And today, it's a special one because we invited a special guest all the way from Nigeria. And I tell you, this program today is brought to you by Black Female Entrepreneur and Nigeria, in collaboration with Nigerian Community Greenwich, because we're both kind of partnering in raising a lot of awareness around the African culture and the African family. So today we'll be looking at the role of African father in bringing up our children. Like the title says, the role of father as a role model in bringing up Black boys. So what role do they need to play? We have a grandfather here, a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a professional, and in his field, you can tell that he has a lot of experience to showcase. I would just like to start giving you those kudos before introducing myself. And I will go straight to introducing myself, which is, my name is Lucy Isaiah, aka Mother CEO in the building. And I'm here today to host this event, host this occasion, host our special guest, and also thank him for his time. It's not everyone you invite to such an event. And, you know, you guys know Pepe has to rest. You cannot just walk like that and come down. Yeah, it's not easy, but we thank him for the time that he has spent and the time that he has actually given to be part of this event to make the African Festival this year, the African Month this year, an amazing one. After this event, it depends on how many guests join us online. We are on YouTube. So we're not on Facebook this time, but we're on YouTube because we would like to share the YouTube page. So we are on YouTube. So if you go to BFEG Greenwich, you can find us on YouTube, and there you can share the link and watch us live from wherever you're coming from. And so we have a special guest here. I will hand over the mic. I don't want to talk to him. I'm looking at the time. I will hand over the mic to him for him to introduce himself. Then he will come back to me. Then we'll dive into the conversation. For those of you that want to join us on Zoom, you're free. The link is there. Join us on Zoom. If you want to ask any question, you're free to ask question. And those of you that want to join us on YouTube, I'll also be picking questions from YouTube. So over to you.
Very good evening, listeners. Thank you for finding time to be part of this laudable program. My name is Ogbeni Biola Oyebanji. I'm a legal practitioner. I've been doing this for about 41, 42 years now. And I'm a senior advocate of Nigeria, and with vast knowledge in African culture. You're welcome to this program, which I believe will impact positively and from where we'll have mutual benefits from. You're all welcome. Good evening again.
Good evening. So our guest has introduced himself, and he's a senior advocate in Nigeria and has done a lot of work. 40 years is not a small thing. So that tells you he has vast knowledge on what he's going to say today. So without too much of talk, I would like to say one of the reasons why we actually decided to have this conversation, because there's been an ongoing debate about the African parenting style. Does it fit the Western way? Does it fit us in the diaspora? And so there's an outcry from our children saying our parents are very strict. Our parents are not allowing them to do what they want to do. You know, a big outcry from our conversation, because there's been an ongoing debate about the African parenting style. Does it fit the Western way? Does it fit us in the diaspora? And so there's an outcry from our children. So, sorry, I think our YouTube live is bouncing back. So somebody's there, somebody's trying to join us. Let's see, just give me 1 second. There's always a technical issue here, so I'm just going to join the person like that. So there's been an outcry from a lot of our parents and our children. Hello, Farida. There's been hello. You can mute as soon as you join. Thank you for joining. You mute. There's been an outcry from a lot of our family members, our children, saying our parenting skill is kind of tough on them, kind of hard on them. And that has actually resulted in a lot of conflict, because the culture here is different, the culture background is different. Some of us were not born here, some of us, the way our parents parental, that is what we're trying to do here. And but we're not looking into that parenting area, because this is going to be part of the conversation, because this program is going to run from now till next year. But today we are picking on the role of the African father, not undermining the beautiful roles some single mother, single parent have played. I'm not going to undermine it. So some single mother, single parent have played an amazing role while being a single parent, play the role of a mom, play the role of a dad at the same time. But I'm emphasizing now on the role. What does who is an African father? And what is his role in the household? Because this is something that I've had conversation with a lot of stakeholders, people in the in government, people in parastatal, people in the education system. I've been an advocate for parents. I've gone to a lot of school meetings. I'm a parent governor. And some of the things they are raising awareness still to know what role does the African father play. Sometimes we will say, oh, the African men or the Black men come, they look very aggressive when they come to meeting. Sometimes that actually make them, they talk them down, that make them not to actually want to get involved. Or is it because of being the breadwinner, and as a result, that is making them too busy to play their role? So we're going to dive into it. So there's a lot of conversation to be had here, which is, some will be very sensitive, some will be very emotional, but they say issue that is not discussed end up becoming a bigger issue for us in the long run. So I'm going to over to you, Mr. Abiola. What could I call it? Sabiola.
Thank you. So, yeah. I appreciate the introduction given. Yeah, going straight ahead into this discussion, we'll start with who is a father. The father is that dominant male in any family. And this thing runs from generation to generation. No matter whichever way you see it, they are the ones that are in possession, and they are custodian of the core cultural values of any family. And they are guided by customs that they equally inherited, learned from, and acquired similarly from their own predecessors. The father, who often is the model, is the one that gives guidance, He gives direction. And of course, he instills discipline at the same time. Whatever it is a family wants to become, the father role, he has to make provision for the family. Through this medium, they look forward to him in decision making. He gives guidance. Part of this is waking up in the morning. That those responsibilities and obligations that you are owing the family is already unwritten, but imbibed by you as you grow up. In doing this, the family head, who is the global fatherly role now in the extended family, will come to the central family. He is the enforcer of discipline. And of course, wherever there is laxity of control, that place will never be coherent. So they try to bring everybody together under one roof. As a child, every child born into the family is everybody's responsibilities. It's not that this boy belongs to my younger brother. Immediately, you are being you by procreation, you get into that family, you have become everybody's responsibility. So for now, they'll tell you values and virtues. Don't steal. Don't show stubbornness. Be humble. Respect your elders. Even if it's for one day that the person is senior to you, they will let you know that, come, you have to condescend. You don't have to be rude to anybody. You should be compliant with what you met the family doing over the time.
Just let me just, because of our guests joining by Zoom, we are live on YouTube. So if you're joining us by Zoom, just for your own attention, we are live on YouTube. You can actually watch us live on YouTube, and you can share the link on YouTube. And if you have any question, you'll be given opportunity to ask your question, or you can put your question on the message link. But we are live on YouTube just for your own attention. Thank you. Just go on.
Now, like it has been said, this is an interactive session for everybody to learn from the core tradition of an African being before it's implanted by the effect of the diaspora. Number one, we all need to agree from onset the difficulties and the incoherence between where you are coming from and where you have chosen as your place of residence. Those values and the imported values and the one you are meeting there, structurally, they're the same. It's just the implementation that is diverse and appears to be conflicting. They are not different from each other. Number one is enforcement of discipline. If you go through this one, in any family, especially where there is no male presence, the structure is always one way or the other, a bit weak. A boy looks to his father and a girl looks to the mother. It's God's own way of passing down information to all of us. Wherever you have a male leadership, that's the father. He takes control of everybody. He takes decision. He is responsible for the welfare of the family. He's the enforcer of discipline. Where are you going?
When I said, let me just chip in a little bit. I'll be interjecting a little bit.
No problem.
No offense.
Yeah.
Having said that, there are some exceptional single women, Africa, who has done amazing job.
Yeah.
Not intentional, but circumstances have actually put them in a situation whereby they have played an amazing role. Will you take that from them and say that it's only the men that have, it's only when there's a man that can the role of that father can work?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm making a general statement.
Okay.
And wherever you have a general statement, there will always be an exemption. I'm not undermining the effort of any family member in establishing good leadership for their children. What I'm saying is they are very, very assertive. And when a male takes a position and tells the child, both male and female, we restrict ourselves for now to the male, don't do this one. There's that greatest tendency for that child to obey and comply with whatever the father. Yeah, equally well, there are fathers that have failed in their duties to their children. They are not the ones we're talking about. We're talking of that male, dominant, reasonable, effective enforcer.
But we're still talking about, because when we say the role model, we're talking about some of the father that has also failed.
Yes.
So they fail woefully.
Yes.
Not just woefully, they've actually left their responsibility as the head of the home.
Yes.
And walk away. Sometimes they can be present and it's like they're not present. Yes, you understand? We have the ones that are there. They didn't leave the parent, they didn't leave the wife, they're there, sitting down there, and they're not actually enforcing that support, because what a woman needs in a home is just a support. Yeah. They're not enforcing it. In Africa, you can see a extended family coming in and trying to make sure that the children are supported, or friends and family. But in the diaspora, we don't have that family building up. So in terms of the word role model, what would you say, what should those fathers do? Those fathers that has failed in their duty, because we're not talking about those that have not failed. We're talking about those that have failed. Yeah.
We need to know the reason why they have failed. But talking generally, a father in a house would not want to fail his offspring, because you want the continuation of the golden name to continue. What an ideal father does, the way we were brought up, is strict appliance of principles of hard work, etiquettes in your interpersonal relationship. Number one, with your siblings, with the central family, and with the extended family, which is boundless. I said earlier, if you give birth, there's a proverb that 4 eyes gives birth to a baby, or to babies in case of twins. But 1,000 eyes are interested in their good and sound upbringing. This is applicable. If you did any wrong while we're growing up, they will tell your parents. But before they will have informed your parents, they will have taken that discipline on their own. And in the evening, when everybody has settled, they will still come back to report formally the unethical behavior of such a child. And the community will rise up in one voice without any dissent. They do this one to those that are even married. If you are married and you have taken a step that was unbecoming of an intended leader, they will call you and take discipline. Sometimes it leads to banishment from the family. Oh, that one is in the extreme. But as of to actually define what are those roles, you yourself as the father, you have to be within the confinement of discipline before you can have anything to now give. You can't give what you don't have. If you're a drunk, of course, somebody's looking at you. Instances abound of children challenging their fathers. Come, Daddy, why are you smoking? Daddy, why are you drinking? It's because we have failed. That notwithstanding, as an enforcer, you know the duty you owe the children in ensuring that they undertake their duties both in the house, in school, and to the community at large. But if you are not there to give guidance, then you're not acting as a model for these children. So I'm imploring all of us fathers to sit down, review with the wife, what are we to do to straighten and give good future to the children.
Thank you. Thank you very much for actually straightening that area, because we've seen instances whereby because in the diaspora, there's a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
I don't know if the challenges got to do with how the male, because if you look at the way the male was brought up, because sometimes the lifestyle, yeah, everybody chip in. It's not a one-sided, everybody chip in. When we talk about role model, we know our culture demand us to respect our male, our elders, and all this kind of thing. But looking at the Western culture, where sometimes it can become it make you lose confidence. Even you being a wife, even the child that is growing up, seeing that the father is playing certain role and the mother is playing certain role. It is not like a full support from both sides.
Yeah.
And this is something sometimes that actually lead to home being
conflict
and home being break. The Western culture asks everyone to put hands together. You know, there's no seniority. There's no seniority. Everybody needs to play equal role, especially the dad. The dad need to make sure that when it comes to dealing with the boys, because already as a black boy is a problem. You know, being a black boy is a problem. You know, you have police brutality, you have been stop and search, you've been seen as a bad child, even though they don't consider you are likely to get into trouble.
All time suspects.
Oh yeah. And then you come into this part of the world whereby you have challenges in terms of when you as a dad, you need the workload, you have to work around the clock to meet up, then you don't have time to be available in the house. Sometimes you need to attend school meeting, you are not present. We see some dad don't attend school meetings. They're not present here. Hospital appointments left with the mom to go up and down to do it. Then when it comes to taking the children for activities, that's how the Western world is built. Yeah. Children need to go for swimming, basketball, all this kind of thing. And if you go to some of these places, you find that there's more mom. It's more of the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something. The Zoom has just, okay, so I can admit. You find that it's more of the women or mom that is there pushing those children. So in that area, are you saying, I don't know how to put this question now.
There should be a balance.
It does our culture, some of them will say, I'm the man, because we've seen a situation whereby the father will say, I'm the man, it's not my responsibility. But this is the time you're supposed to be bonding with your son.
Yes.
Going to football, say, oh, some of them will say, when I was young, I just go. This is not Africa, where you go anywhere to go and play football. There is a structure where you need to take your child, because for them, that is how you bond with your son. That is the time you teach your son how to become a man, because you don't have that community back home. Back home, you have that community to help you. But right here, you don't have that community. So it is left for you. If you're not going to create time for structure your work so that you can have time to take your child to football. So my question is, what does our culture stop our fathers to play that role? Because now some of them hide under this culture.
The culture is of dominance, like I introduced. But the fact that you are number one does not make you a dictator.
Okay.
No. There is balance with the people of the past.
Mm.
Though they may appear distant from the day-to-day running, but that notwithstanding, they never left the cultural control. How do they do this one? They delegated to the mothers what and what needed to be done, with the overall direction. And anybody that fails, because at that time, there's always interaction between the parents and their wards. How do I mean? When you're going to school, is that you first of all meet your dad and we are going to, out of that country, will now bring money for you to know that, come, whatever it is I tell you, you should abide by it unconditionally. You are going to school, this is for your food, I need your results. What was it that you did in school today? There is that level of interaction between the children and their parents, especially the father. But the women were the ones essentially in control of interpersonal relationship with the children. Now, coming back home here, the society here appears individualistic. Everybody is on to his own. Whatever is happening, the next door neighbor, I'm unperturbed, I'm concerned, I'm indifferent to that. But the father here, if he, for any reason, is incapable of meeting certain obligations, like those you enumerated, attending the school, meeting, communal settings, all this, for one reason, it should not make it a practice of default. It should make that resolution, should be more resolute about his intention that, come, I want to be visible in the affairs of my ward. Have you eaten? What did you eat? Tomorrow, you are going to so place, we are going together. Mommy, for certain explainable reason, I will not be able to meet this with you. See, if everything is streamlined, anytime you fail, the child will not know it's as of custom, but don't mind that, he will never be there. So the reasonable father that we are talking to, please kindly endeavor to at all times fulfill your own obligation of family growth. You need to do that. And anywhere that there is failure, there should be a reportage to a senior person, which may be within or outside the family. I think that's...
Yeah, so I think that brings you to your slide, how boys were raised back in Africa. So if we look at how boys were raised back in Africa, how do we incorporate that into the Western culture? Because we live in diaspora.
Yeah.
So back home, how was boys raised? Was it just the father? Was it just the mother? And the father, was it an extended family? Was it a community thing? Introducing boys into, because I remember growing up, I can hear my dad saying to my brother, say, oh, you're getting into manhood. There's certain things they need to do to introduce you into manhood.
The initiation.
Yeah. Because why you see gangs strive in UK or in Western world, in diaspora, some of our boys are not being taught, are not being introduced or supported into manhood by their father. As a result, they hear, because if you're being taught into manhood, your father will teach you how a man should behave, when you get to that adolescent age or puberty age, where your father will tell you some of the certain things that he has experienced and how he teach you steps of streetwise, what to expect in there. Some of our boys lack that initial introduction. And then the gangs exploit, they know there's a gap.
They disconnect.
So there's a gap between when the child finished primary school. Some children grow fast. It depends on the environment they find themselves. I'm a teacher. And I also work in in school, and I'm also a governor. From that year 4, some children some young boys are beginning to feel like a man. You know, they start to test boundary. This is where we expect our fathers, our community to start working together. You know, but sometimes you see some of the men group they have. The only thing they go there to drink, they drink, they have their chat, they discuss about women not doing whatever. But this is where those men groups are supposed to intervene and start supporting the boys. By the time they get to year 6, which is finishing primary school, and transition into secondary school, where the big challenge comes, where they are trying to figure out who they are. And that is where the gang member actually start recruiting them for their own job. Because our father did not play no role, because some of them have failed to play or to identify that this child is getting to the stage whereby manhood need to be, or boys to teenager to men, then those gang will not teach them to become hard.
Yes.
So
see, growing up as a male child, there are certain things by nature that you cannot get exposed to. Certain things. But what we have in diaspora is earlier exposure to some of these certain things, part of which I'm sure you know some, but I don't have to mention. Before some of us grew to know certain things about life, it took time. Some, maybe when you are clocking 19, some 20. And the most reckless period in any male child is the adolescence, because that's when he's becoming conscious of his manhood, that whatever it is, I can take it. If you ask him to go to the war, he's glad to do it. But after 20-something, he starts to slow down behaviorally. Now, if you go back in reflection, apart from bringing you up in sound cultural values, no father will sit you down to say, let's drink palm. Then let's drink palm wine. He would rather drink it in the midst of his age mates. There are certain things you don't get exposed to. Issue of cigarettes, no. And when they're talking about adulthood, you are ostracized. And this is how they will be monitoring. Most of the earlier scholars, they were picked up because of their behavior. And the community collectively contributed money with which they went to school. And they came back to be of immense contribution to both local and international communities. These are the kind of things that is expected of reasonable. Number one, you have to enforce discipline. Make sure as the child is growing up, it takes up a trade. It takes up. The fact that you are schooling does not mean you should not have diverse knowledge. No knowledge you acquire is wasted. You have no serious time to waste growing up. But here, there's plenitude of time to waste, with all due respect. One, after your school, you go for lesson. That's what they call it. That
so that you're talking about
engagement. Yes, engagement was part of the control.
Go and learn work.
Everything that would be beneficial to you later in life.
And these are parents introducing this to their child.
Of course.
And the father also play a bigger role.
Even he will monitor you to the place. Is that he gives your servitude to his own friend or his friend's friends. Even at that, if he gives to somebody else he is not connected, you can be sure of monitoring. There were no telephones, but the monitoring were very, very effective. Did you see your boy at workplace today? So no, I didn't see it. By the time, before you got home, he was already sitting in judgment. So you did not go to work. What happened? That was monitoring. But these days, and with all due respect to the diasporans, everybody is engaged.
Busy
They're
life.
overwhelmed with survival. That in a way creates gap for the children to lose the touch with reality. What you can do or learn under 30 minutes, 1 hour, when there was no supervision, can be what will
destroy his life.
Exactly. But there, when we are growing up, the gap is not too there.
Yeah.
If anybody see you eating fish, not from the house, nobody will tag you as a thief. And you want to run away from such negative publicity. You don't have to be told again. You avoid anything that will bring your parents or the name of the family into disrepute. But here, there's permissiveness, extreme permissiveness. The mother is preoccupied, maybe is doing morning work or afternoon work. The father, see, that those break and lacking supervision is what in a way has made the male, the youthful ones, to veer into so many other things that the father may likely have failed. But foremost, we should be prayerful that God gives everything. You understand? God gives. You have Bishop's child ending up to be drug addicts. You have some people that had nothing and their children coming up. So we should take that one as grace of God. When we're talking to our word, we should be very gentle on them. Very gentle. Let them see the role model. Yeah, being a great enforcer, a disciplinarian, you understand? It works, but does not work. Everybody has his own disposition. Some children, they want you to bring them down, talk to them. Some you have to shout once in a while. You understand? But total laxity in supervision, I can tell you, is what is really creating this.
So I see you. There's something I picked in when you were talking about is like mentoring. So that fathers sometimes take their child and assign it to either their friends. Yeah. So this is something that is a bigger problem here. Where, you know, about you, what you say, I can see that happened with my other brother, where there's somebody in the family where then we're living in Lagos, where they said, okay, you must report to that person, you must see that person every day. Yes. And you have conversation with that person. So that person was like, and when my brother did anything, they will invite that person to our house.
Yes, and give account.
The person will come sit down and they will have conversation. But I think that is lacking. That is where the mentoring comes, because sometimes children don't do listening to their parents. I think we are able to, some of us do, our children, maybe if you are Christian, they do like First Holy Communion, they do baptism, they do confirmation, where they have like godparents. It's like maybe we are not using we're just picking we just pick if we want to pick. We're not looking at how can that person be of a mentor to that child, where you help that child to grow. Like back when you say you take somebody, an uncle, but here you might not have that extended family.
No, it's absent.
And then in the community, people are always living in fear, safeguarding. There's a lot of law tying your hand to give your child to somebody without a proper anything. So a child can be abused. So what do you think? We normally have this group we have this our Egbe group where we meet together. Do you think it's something that we should start having a conversation that children we need to start forming a mentorship within our community that our children can be assigned to support them?
Yes, I subscribe to that idea wholeheartedly. Wherever there is disconnect in the line of instruction, sorry, I have to digress a bit. A man sometimes wants to take stringent measures to ensure that his word falls in line. You see some mothers undermining that. That is very common, with all due respect, because some mothers want to appear that they are much more affectionate. They are the ones that are closer to them. And the moment there's that problem, a man loves respect, and a man does not tinker with challenges. Sir, this boy has offended. Yeah, when I was growing up, anything we did that was wrong, my grandmother would make a formal complaint when the father, came back from work. If you are already aware that what this man told me the last time I wronged, you want to avoid it. Similarly, if the father in the house, his efforts are not undermined in any way, I can tell you, you will continually want to be seen as being in control of the guidance of his word.
But let me interject a little bit before, because I'm looking at the time.
Okay.
I understand the role that men want to be respected, but this is where I call communication. There's sometimes where women are in this place, we are under pressure cooker.
Yes.
I'm telling you. I'm not saying because I'm a woman, but I work with a lot of African women, a lot of Nigerian women, and I see the workload that they carry. They are like under pressure cooker 24/7. I think sometimes our men need to understand that.
That is where the complementary effort.
Yeah, that's what they say. They need to understand that there are some certain things that we say because we are tired. We are overwhelmed. You should not, when you feel that your wife has said something or your partner says something that you not like, this is where your man, what would I call it?
The communication side of it.
And your leadership. Leadership comes with responsibility, yeah. Understanding, looking at the situation. Why did this woman say this? And why is this woman always angry? Is there something so as a leader, your role is to find out why your community or why your household is in this position. Yeah, is it not the role of the same man to say, you know what, let's sit down. I understand sometimes, and also try to investigate why your wife is always in that situation. That's what a leader do.
See, it varies from family to family. In some families, the women folk, God blesses them with the ability to control. But by birth and by divine intervention as well, in all the books of religion, man is number one in the house. He is the one that should be the enforcer, the head. So you cannot fail. Part of not failing is that you should have established a communication line between you.
Do you say because it is designed that they cannot fail, or they should work hard not to fail?
No, it is designed that it's their responsibility.
So, and then because of that, they will not fail?
No. It's part of this failure we are now addressing.
Okay.
That is to avoid the breakdown and the disconnect. That's where you ask your question, right? That a woman will want to do it, but the man will become disenchanted or something. No. We are talking in a reasonable establishment. Number one, don't allow there to be any disconnect in the communication. And especially on how you rule the children. If he's supposed to be doing his lesson for 1 hour or doing his game for 1 hour, whatever it is that is supposed to be his time, ensure that one of you is taking charge of that affair. The moment they know that there's no parity between the enforcement of discipline, it's not that this mom loves me, dad did not love me. You see everybody becoming responsible. And the moment you note that a child is falling away from the established line, there will always be a way for the father and the mother to sit down to let him know this is what we have noticed about your unacceptable conduct. We expect also fall back to the established route. We're going to give you 1 week to rectify the situation. That is with love and affection. Everything is not about appearing to be the Hitler in the house.
Mm.
Everything that needs to do for there to be the acceptance of the father as a good role is for him to also fall in line with the established rules and guidelines established by God himself. You are going for service, you are not taking your children along. You are going to watch whatever yourself that you know could be beneficial in a way to the child. Take him along. And of course, this is inclusive of the girl child as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we've seen several times in I don't know if this it does sometimes happen back home, but it's frequent here where we see the male disenchant themselves. Because that's what we bring out. We're going to talk about the women, but this is not for them. But we see men disenchant themselves from the responsibility of bringing up the children. Well, bringing up the children doesn't mean I come, I buy food in their house. No. Yeah, these are basic. We're talking about being part of making that child a responsible adult or a responsible child. But we've seen most of the time in the diaspora, it's happening a lot. They decided to work for whatever reason. I know we're all looking for money. But when you get that money and you don't know where to spend, the children that you're supposed to spend that money on are becoming useless. So what is that money for? So they will decide to work longer hours, you know, to stay off coming home, because the children here, sometimes they can be they can be a handful.
Yes.
They are blessing, but they can be a handful. But they want to stay away from that, trying to follow through. There's one thing for you, because you're talking about enforcement. You can give a child an enforcement. That's why children born these days and now in the day. And if you don't follow through and check the checking and follow through of implementing whatever you are saying, that is where the bigger role is. But we've seen a lot of our men running away from that enforcement, running away from following through. A child has done something today, or you ask a child to wash plate or do this, you're not going to follow through. You're not going to create time to be there. Or even when you come back from work, you lock yourself inside the room. You know, a lot of men does that. They come back from work, they lock themselves out of the room. They will not sit down in the evening and say, where is this child? But maybe when you come back, all the children are gone to sleep.
I mentioned this earlier, that there should be interpersonal relationship. I don't know if you recall that. There should be established interpersonal relationship within the family. Waking up in most houses, you say that for prayers, and it's not out of tune to use that opportunity as well to disseminate certain informations, qualitative informations, to guide. This is what you need to do. When you get to school, look at what your teacher wrote as a comment. Go and meet, apologize. Corrective measures start from home. We cannot leave everything for the teachers or for even the neighbors. You start. It is said that if you're able to acquire so much money, but you fail to bring up your child, it's those child that will come and dissipate whatever it is you have done with your money, because they don't have constructive knowledge of how to do things appropriately and in conformity with the neighborhood of where they are living. Like I said, a responsible father will want to know how his child spent the day. You should make a reassessment on a daily basis. Who are you going out with? I don't want to see so and so person. I don't want to see so and so person. By so time, you should enter the house. If I don't see, these are the best ways of not giving any chance for any miscreant to enter your child's life. It's not possible to have it. If you take over their daily, I know some houses, they will not allow you to watch certain programs because of the bad influence that the thing will end up with. They will not allow you to do that. So time, this is what you are going to do. So time, you have engaged them.
And you follow through.
Completely. But like I said earlier, the society here is highly individualistic and highly permissive. It gives you, don't beat the child, or if you do this one, or these are things, and you could not do it. You are constrained to taking certain things you will have done. Just
okay, you raised something around discipline. That is the capital point. This is something, even I know back home, it's not.
It has been reduced.
It has totally, because if you injure a child, that is as child cruelty. Yeah. So I know most people would like to have that form of, but there are different ways a child can be disciplined.
Yeah.
There are different ways. So coming from your own capital punishment out of the way.
Yeah, just completely
out of the way. What are the best way a father can actually get involved and discipline their child? Because don't wait till your child become like, they say when a broom is become hard, you try to break it, you scatter it, So what are the best way of discipline?
The best way to discipline is to show love.
Okay.
You have to show love, not in pampering.
Mm-hmm.
Showing love is different from pampering. And unfortunately, that is the group we're all inside.
Mm.
Number one, do you know why I'm working? Do you know why I'm here?
Mm.
Do you know why you are here? It's for you to make that excellent life that I did not have.
Mm.
I want you to do better. You inspire. And how do you inspire most of these things? By being a model.
Mm.
Let the child see you at all times.
Mm.
You understand? Doing and discharging those things that ordinarily you should. If we enumerated this one, going to their school, following up their education, following up their activities in social side of it, and your own, because a child learns better, exemptionally better, from his own father, not from anybody. You are the first contact of development that the child has. And the moment you fail, the child will start looking out to somebody else. And rest assured that that one may likely misdirect and mislead the world. Show love. How do you show love? By being responsible in all the things, the divine jobs that God has imposed on you as a father. We all know it. The moment you run away from it, you're already creating a gap. You're already creating an escape route for the world to start learning all those negative side of life.
You just said, I think I'm just going to bring you to slide 6, where you say the gap in the diaspora. So can you just expatiate a little bit? And that talk about identity crisis, identity, Black men in leadership role. So if you want to,
the identity crisis is for everybody to see himself not as a substitute. See yourself as equal. If you have this inferiority feeling that so person is far better than me, you can never grow, both spiritually, economically, socially, name it. But when you have it at the back of your mind, they say we should do this one, and you arrange your affairs within those confinements, there's nobody that will say you should not grow. We have seen people in diaspora, either born here or that were brought in, excelling. They did marvelously well in their chosen career.
But how do a father teach that? Because I think that is lacking. How do a father teach that to his son in terms of overcoming this identity crisis of being a Black boy?
It's part of those things we have highlighted earlier. If you have not failed in your responsibilities in ensuring good upbringing for the child, you can just rest assured that it will not fail you. We were taught to believe growing up that stop following women. It was part of the teaching inculcated in us. Stop. See, they will come later. Face your studies first. But here we have where a male child, tender age, is exposed early into things that will not detract his life. So many exposure early in life. I'm sorry, maybe from the house, maybe from the public experience, there are bad influences on them. Until we are able to take effective control of what happens to your child from morning till he goes to bed, there's that tendency for you to be missing most of the things that you should have discovered earlier in his life. Engagement of the parents, like you mentioned earlier as well. Everybody's looking for money, combining 3 works, all for survival. But can you leave your divine role that God in his mercies has imposed on you for somebody else? No, you have to be the one to carry out those duties. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm going to bring you back to next slide, because I was just looking, because something you just said actually clicking, where they say, how do we, because I want audience to be able to ask you a question. How do we rebuild the system here? Because we actually, we've enlightened a lot of the challenges, the problem. We've talked some area around what we need to do as person. And also now we're coming back, how do we rebuild the system? Talking about the system here, the government here, because I'm going back to the UN decade of, as part of reparation of slavery for African living in diaspora, what the government need to do to help us, because we're working. The only reason why we work, there's nobody want to work to die. The only reason why we do that because we're not able to meet ends. So what are the things that we need to put together? How do we put it to the government so that they can help us to create this hub, this mentor platform, and so that we can be able to present our case? Because again, there's a system here. You have your local system, you have your MP, you have your the House of Lords, House of Parliament. How do we, as Africa in the diaspora, Black community in the diaspora, put our head together and get a structure, take it to the government, and so that they can ask, because this is something that we cannot do by ourselves.
Yeah,
there's nothing we can do by ourselves.
See, there is strength in number.
Yeah.
If you take one broom, it's very easy to break. But when you have the bunch, you cannot. The rectitude is to have strong and, how do I put it? The communal efforts has to be much more viral than it is presently. The individualistic approach has to be removed. If you want to make any representation in the neighborhood, like all these suggestions that we made, there's nothing stopping a small group starting, maybe a small group of 20, 30, whatever you have been able to successfully conceive and implement. Before you know it, if it works, you sell it to other neighborhood. But you have to make your voice known. 1 person, 20 person will not make that difference. There are still some tribes here
that do well.
Yes, that their culture. Yes, they did not discard their culture. They still bring their culture here. They implant it, and they are still using it. It's working for them. That's why you see dominance here and there. Wherever you go, you'll always see them there. We as Africans, we need to conceive what are those things that are working at home, that we need to replicate. And in the duplication, make sure it's still within the confinement of the local laws there, so that it can now transmute in a way to what will be acceptable to the government. I'm sure they will listen.
Definitely.
They will listen.
Yeah, what you said is I'm going to chip in here. Because this is where my specialty, this is where my specialty comes in, because I'm already eager to have a conversation about this thing. And I'm going to call out our community. We do not get involved. It's a big thing. And like if you read that UN decade of as part of reparation for African living in diaspora, it's a very big. I come across that document when I was as part of the an advisory to the mayor of London as for reparation of slavery. That's when I came across that document, and that document says a lot of what the government can do to support us. That in a local community, if we are even up to 2030 and we say to ourselves, you know what, due to a problem happening, we want our children to be looked after, we want our children to be exploited by anything. If we put together a child care facility after school and we're able to structure it properly and get people within our community that will cook our cultural food, introduce our cultural, because we need to have a sense of identity.
Yes.
Because a lot of our children are being here, they're born here, they've not been back home. And make it a cultural hub with our community, follow all the safeguarding policy that they put in place, train our people, and submit this document to our local authority or whoever government that it is part of the law, they must support us. Yeah. But the problem I have most of the time, we do not work together. It is a race of competition. Everybody wants to create their own community group, create this one. And at the end of the day, we end up doing nothing. And our children are the ones that end up in gun crime, knife crime, prison, because there's no way for them to go. And I'm going to call on the faith leaders here. Because when you go to the church, sometimes they walk, they do their bit, but we want them to be more proactive. This church environment that we have, let's turn it into a community, or even though it's once a day, because it's not easy to get a place for you to go and do these activities. So yes, some of the community centers are just too expensive for you to even have it. But we have faith group. So we are asking them to also attend those faith group. It is the Black community. It is not everything that must be centered around the faith. There's some other things we need to look that our culture can be introduced, so that because that will help our children with their identity crisis, where we will become a general hub. The building, you have this building for years, just one day. One day, if this church give its own, this mosque give its own, all over the places, before you know, we'll have 7 days a week for activities for our children to go, and then we will employ people that understand the culture. So as soon as they close from school, there's a place to go. And we need to form this community spirit, and learn to become politically involved, because all these things we're saying, if it is not implemented as law, it does not work. Politically involved. Some of us don't even know who is our councillor. We don't know who is our MP. Some of us are not even registered to vote, because these are the things we can take to the local authority. This is like, some of us don't even know when it's full council meeting. You can go to your full council meeting and ask questions. You pay your council tax. You live in the community. There's a lot of things that we stakeholders that we can get involved, but we don't get involved. We have the Nigerian Community Greenwich. This one is being done by Nigerian Community Greenwich and Black Female. There are a lot of organizations that are actively, we have some faith groups that are actively, please get hand, join together, because a teaching time saved 9. Today is not your child, tomorrow it might be your child, because it's like a viral, it's going around. A lot of parents are complaining about their boy's child, and not even the girl's child, but we're centered about it. But we want more people to get involved to do a better support. I want to say big thank you for actually doing justice to this. I'm going to open the floor. I know some people are joining us from the Facebook, and some people are joining us from YouTube. So I'm going to open the floor on pin. Let me see if I can unpin this. So if or contribution, if you have a question or contribution, please feel free to ask and then contribute. The floor is open. You can either unmute or raise your hand with the hand sign, and then I'm just trying to check on the YouTube if there's anyone that puts question there. There's no question. Okay. Over to you, audience. And then see, we are live on YouTube. So for those of you that want to, there's people watching from YouTube. So if anyone wants to ask question, you're free to ask your question, because I think we're running up this thing by 8. If you want to ask question, please do ask question before we go to the next, to the last discussion of this topic. We have Adaobi. Yeah, Adaobi. We have Farida. We have Esther. I don't know what this. We have. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. So please, if you want to ask any question, if you want to say something, please do unmute and ask. If I'll give you time to ask anything. Does anyone want to say anything before we? Because I just want to give a break to the speaker so that it doesn't look that we're just talking. I want it to be, and I will check on the YouTube and see if anyone has asked any question before I go.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for this session. It's really good, but even though it's coming at a late time, but it's still good to address it.
Yeah.
Because I think it has to do with the culture. The culture, the African man, they are too entrenched in their culture because they feel that he has to be a man. And that doesn't work out, you know. Things are changing. Even in Africa, it's changing fast. We've seen people use their parents for juju, you know. So what we ask is that the man should actually see themselves as part of the family, because we are married, but we are also carrying your siblings, your parents as your own family. Some people don't even see their wives and their children as family. You understand? I don't know if it's cultural. Before they see it is maybe when it's a bit too late. So I think men should actually see their immediate family. It doesn't matter if you don't like the woman, but at least help to raise the children or the child, you know. I like what you said about the culture, the village helping to raise. That is hypothetical. What if the village are not interested? At least do your own. So thank you. I think the men, and I like the fact that you said if we have a place that the children can go to. Most of the places of after school, they don't really, it's not about us, but the West Indians have managed to help themselves. But Africans come here, all they think is building house in Lekki. They are here living in council flat, and they have 2 houses in Lekki. So what are you calling that? You are living it for yourself, not for the children, because the siblings are the ones that will take it. So you have to learn to invest in your children and train them so that they can be useful for themselves first. Then if they're useful for themselves, then you don't have a problem. You understand? So thank you. That's my contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think do you want to say it or you want me to read it? I think there's some question here. Okay, let me go back to this. Thanks so much, sir, for sharing from your wealth of experience. Please, what are some of the strategy we can use against LGBT? We're not going to say so I can in this country, everyone is allowed to practice what they want to practice, and it is up to you within your own family to choose. Because again, remember, our children are a lot of them have their own. They meet up with different people. They start with different lifestyle. We have to tread carefully when they come. I'm going to leave that to you, but this country, everyone is allowed to practice what they want to practice. We cannot discriminate against people. But I would allow you to say, to just chip in.
On that, it comes back to what we have said earlier. If you have brought up your word in strict discipline and to appreciate what are the core values, such a child will know that these are the things I should do, These are the things that in good conscience will annoy my parents. These are the things I have been warned against. It's a matter of balance, of good sound upbringing with societal influence. There's no way that there will not be diverse opinions on issues like this, but you will have pinned down your own word to what in your own ability is suitable for sound upbringing. So at no time should you leave your word unattended. So continually and persistently too, inculcating them what is the core value that you believe in, and they will not go astray.
See, I'm just going to see. Sometimes, you know, we diaspora, we love calling ourselves, oh, my children they are British. They are British. I've never, yes, my children are British, but I always remind them that before they become British, they are African. And I celebrate African Day in my house. We watch. There's nothing about Africa that my kid does not know. And I talk about my parents. Sometimes there's a lot of what I don't even talk about our parents, our children. Maybe, we have this distant, even your distant relationship with other people, your extended family. It depends on, sometimes you might not be having contact with them, but that does not mean you should not introduce your family system. You know, your family tree. Let me put it that way. Your family tree. Even though, get a family tree in your house. Your uncle, your extended family, your great-great-grandparents, your have that family tree with their name. I did that, and that was one of the best things I've ever done with my children. Maybe because I'm an artist. I did this big family tree, you know, and I had the privilege to ask my mom about all my extended family members, their name, who they are, and I did it with my children. And it's we have it in our room. If you go to each of them, they have it in their room. They know. So sometimes we do not, maybe because we've had bad experience, but bad experience does not mean you shouldn't tell your children that they have extended family. That it is not just them. It is not just you. It is not just your own father, but there's a big family. And anything you are doing, you are actually representing the whole family. We need to learn to incorporate, they have, and some of us might not even know that May is known as the African month. So every May, it has been set aside that May is as African month. In that month of May, as a diaspora parent, what do you teach your children? Even storytelling, African storytelling, you can introduce that. I know some of us, our children are big, are grown up, but you have a family WhatsApp group. You can tell a story, write it, and post it there. Proverb.
Sorry to cut too short. Most of the knowledge people of the past disseminate, they were communicated through stories.
Through stories, yeah.
Life stories, there's what they call it folklore. Under the moon, they'll gather everybody, they'll sit down, and the suspense of the story may likely even make you to be more interested in the ending. And when you get to know the ending, you've already held that one as a source of knowledge. Like you suggested as well, Proverbs. Proverbs, though the depth of the knowledge in expanding the telltale behind the proverb may not be well understood, because every proverb has a story behind it. It's like when you are reading proverb in the Bible, if you can make it a duty to be explaining each chapter to your child, I can tell you.
Just like you explain the Bible or the Quran to them.
Exactly.
Do that.
Your divine inclination. Let them get to know what are the issues behind most of this. Explain. They will be interested. And before you know it, they will contextually reconstruct it and adapt it to themselves.
Yeah.
So
let me tell you one story about my daughter. She was in primary school there, and they were talking about the forgotten African, every Remembrance November. every November is the Remembrance Day. And they were talking about the Remembrance Day. And they never said, because my great-grandfather, well, that's my uncle, fought in the war, in Second World War. And I have another from my mother's side that also fought in First World War. Then my dad is a military person, and he also trained and studied in the British Navy in Portsmouth. So I never hide that story from my children. I did tell them a lot. When my daughter was in school and they were talking about the remembrance of soldiers for World War I, World War II, my daughter stood up. Why are you not talking about the African soldiers? And the teacher was looking at her and said, yes, because my mother told me that Africans fought during the World War I, World War II. And even my grandfather was part of it. And my great-grandfather also fought in Burma War. So if I have not told her that story, and 95% of children that go to that school are Black children. They won't have even opened their mouths to talk. They will just tell them that the British went to the war, they won the war, blah, 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 and there's no impact, no contribution. But because of my daughter, because I told her that story, they started, whenever they are doing the remembrance in their school, they always ask people of the African background, if you have any story about your family taking part in World War I, World War II, we want to see you bring it to the school. So we need to, and somebody also have said, a teacher has said in the school that crude oil is not found in Africa. There's no African country that produce crude oil. There's a teacher in the school telling students that crude oil is not found. And these are stories that we're supposed to be telling our children. These are part of our history.
Sorry to cut you short. Another way out, like we said, about how to mentor, like this communal setting that was suggested. There's no harm in getting people that are well respected in the community to come and give a talk. It's not supposed to be individualistic in a way. We suggested coming together, but the moderation of what happens there is what will remodel their minds to forge ahead in life confidently, and also to make the leaders much more committed, not only to their own words, but to the generality of the world. So if that idea can be explored and magnified, I think it will still be another better approach to having things to work out.
Yeah. And also you can go to schools, because you can go to school where your children attend and speak to the head teacher and say to them, how do you look at the statistic of people that live in the area, how can the school support, not in a fighting way?
No.
Yeah, so you go to the school, do your homework, and write to the head teacher or ask for a meeting that I would like to invite certain community leaders to come to school to talk about my culture, to talk about different, each year, each term. So I want to make it each term. We pick one African country and get somebody from that country to come and talk about it. So school will welcome it, just that parents do not know that this can happen. Even you as an individual, you can go and tell a story. They invite parents to come in and talk story about, and that also helps your child with identity crisis. Because if your child see that my parents are coming to do taking such responsibility, the child will feel confident in where he or she come from. Sense of belonging. I'm still asking if those of you joining us, we're in question and answer. So if another person has something to say, either a question or contribution, please, the floor is open for you to say something. You can just unmute your mic and just chip in. Unmute your mic if you want to contribute anything. We have some people in there where I check the WhatsApp group. Unmute your mic and say, I just contribute to this conversation. And if you want to know more about the organization, how we can host more of this event, There's some we can do on a face-to-face base. There's other ones we can do via Zoom, whichever way is easiest. Someone is free that is asking. Let me see. Somebody asking question. I just want to say so something flagged out. Also, can boys? Okay. What if the father is absent? Circumstances who fulfill the role. Okay.
Yeah.
The
It depends on the circumstances. The fact that you are not physically present does not mean you have lost that glorious role of mentoring your ward. At every point in time, it's not about being present that is proper guidance. We all know that the telephone or the other forms of communication does not leave any gap.
No, I think what's right, because here we have a situation whereby the father is not there at all.
No, it's said by circumstances.
Yeah, by circumstances. But if they are not there, so who will fulfill that role?
Yes, that's why the mother is there. That is why you have the mother in attention. If the father, by his default or failure, failed to discharge his responsibilities to mentor the male child, of course, the mother will not be looking at the ward to be veered off or misled. Bringing up your child is joint effort between the father and the mother. We said it earlier, part of the discussion, that some women are blessed with guidance. They are blessed in giving leadership. They are in so many other ways, even better than some so-called fathers. But when a father is on the run, like your question suggests, there will always be. And while growing up, as was said, there is an extended family form of interaction. There should be somebody in the family that you should be able to look up to. Okay, well, my dad is not around. Uncle, either senior or younger brother should be there to cover up those lapses. Both in the divine world, both in the societal establishment, there is no reason for any father under the sun to fail the child. It's not there. We agree so many things are responsible. Death is there, incapacitation is there, but for a father that is hale and healthy, is unheard of you to now leave the total responsibilities.
There are.
To the, yes.
It's happened.
Yes.
It's happened. And I think I'm just going to chip in. In a diaspora, we see there's a lot where it's just say it's a single, but we have majority father not being there or for whatever reason, the misunderstanding. But I think the mother needs to play, this is where a mother needs to play a role for the best interest of the child. For the best interest, that you need to look up to people in the community that you can. There's some mentorship organization. Mentorship, even my son has his dad there, but he still went through that mentorship. They call it Urbanate Mentorship. It's a community, it's an organization where you will enroll your child and they will not assign your child, depending on what your child interest is. Maybe the person can be, if the person wants to go into accounting, depending on what the person wants to read. So I think it's from age 15, or 14, you enroll. If you want that link, I can send it to you. From age 15 or 14, you enroll the boy into that program, and then the boy will now be assigned with somebody. And the good thing about they can do by Zoom, and you can be present while they are having, or you can lead while they are having conversation. So the person will meet with your son every week. And that program runs for 2 years till the child becomes 16 or 18 before the child will go. But you as a mother, you need to start looking into the community. Whether the father is there or the father is not there, both parents, we need to start looking who we can assign to our son as a mentor. There's a lot of people that do. It can be his teacher and say, when you close for school, I want you to report to your teacher and tell your teacher how your day is. It can be somebody that you trust in the church, that you have actually assessed that person and you want that person to. I think we have to start raising awareness that our son needs mentors apart from their father or the biological father. They need mentors, somebody that would guide them. There's something they were doing in school that they say God parent, I mean, a school mother, school father, but I don't know how good that is. But you can seek for school. You can write to the local authority and ask that I need mentor for my child. I think there's something you also said. I'm just trying to look at your message.
There are two legs to it.
Yeah,
but before that one comes up, equally well, the community can engage in camping so that you'll be able to effectively, not matter 1 hour, 2 hours, engage them in so many aspects of life, part of which is something that will be beneficial at the end of the day for them, like practical aspect of creation. What do you want to be? Are interested in engineering? You start to gauge their interests right from that tender and adolescent age, which is the most dangerous period for any male growing up. Equally well is organizing skills workshop to excite them. Let them have practical approaches to some of these things. And this can always be moderated in so many other ways, cut to size, expanded. You know what is suitable for the gathering you are creating. It's another way of mentoring communally. Yeah.
And I think that's why they've introduced the apprenticeship. It's not every child that will go to university.
No.
So children are going into apprenticeship. For those parents that are not aware, there's a big push for apprenticeship because some kids feel very comfortable doing practical things. I think we should, even this, what we do back when people go and learn work. There's a lot of mechanic garage around. Go and approach them so that your child go into such things earlier on. Electrician, now it's worth put money on the table. That's what people are looking at.
Vocation.
Vocational training. Speak to your if you see your moms or your faith group that you belong to, or your community group, even your Egbe group that you are not only to go for party and wear shop and dance every weekend. Let those your Egbe groups say to them, what vocational training can we start organizing? If I can't be in an Egbe group that is only party, that Egbe group should be able to put money together, pay a mechanic, and say every Saturday, 10 children, you will teach them how to repair a car. Pay somebody that is a fashion designer. Every Saturday, that Egbe group should not just focus. I think we should be restructuring this our Egbe group that we are. Should not only structure on going to party, spend thousands of pounds in a party, and then you go to toilet and discharge them. So this Egbe group must be useful. The church we go, the faith group we belong to must be useful. Introduce it to your pastor, introduce it to your imam, that we want to see vocational, because through that vocational training, those children will get mentored. Then you cannot introduce mentorship. I'm just going to say, you say something. Also, can a boy also turn out without proper upbringing? Can a boy turn out with proper upbringing if the father was absent?
Of course. Anybody can become anything. It's not until when there is physical presence. Guidance can be global. Wherever you are, you can talk with your word. You can give guidance. You can give words and encouragement. You can inspire. Like this folklore we said. It's another way of giving practical example of what's happened or manifested in your own life. So it doesn't have to be present physically.
In the circumstances whereby the father is not present, yes, we've seen a fantastic single parent that have actually raised up their child, and their child has turned out to be. Some of them are even MP. I've seen some MP whereby their parents are single parents. I've seen doctors, lawyers. The only reason why we are emphasizing on this is the role they play within an African setting. You know, there's some children that will need that role. Some children will do better. Our hands are not equal. Some children definitely need that father tweak. Yeah, it's just like when you are frying a scrambled egg. You cannot say you're frying a scrambled egg if you don't put milk inside. But there's some scrambled egg that you can fry without milk because some people are vegetarian. They don't need cow milk. You know, they can use other milk. So the other milk that somebody else can stand as a father figure for them. So you can introduce somebody else that they will look up to as a role model. So it's not every scrambled egg that you use cow milk to do it. There's some scrambled egg you will put if you're vegetarian, you can use cashew milk, you can use oat milk, you can use so if the cow milk, which is the biological father, is not there, so go to plant-based milk, which is another person that can represent. And it's still the scrambled egg will still become scrambled egg. It doesn't matter the type of milk that you use to do it. So I think we're just just playing the devil advocate that fatherly figure, if he's not playing his role, and we're promoting this person so that those men out there that are saying, you know what, I don't give it down. You know, I've have another child somewhere else. If this child and his mother is not doing this, no, that's what we're calling, because if you don't give it down, this child that you have left out, that really needs cow milk, that say it doesn't like what's it called it, plant-based milk, is cow milk he needs, it will become a nuisance somewhere. It will become a nuisance. This child will cause a lot of havoc in the society that will come back and haunt you. So that's why we are calling on just not father, uncle, grandparents, relative, whoever you are as a male, cousins. If you are a male, please play a vital role in bringing up some of our young boys. I don't know if anyone has any other question before we call it a day. We have I think we'll just go back. Is there someone? Okay, somebody say something. Okay. Yeah, good. I'm going to go to this person, G-Day. In a situation whereby the parents are separated and they are co-parenting, how can one manage this when they have very different way of raising the son and it leads to friction frequently? How can this be best managed?
Okay. The issue is bringing up the word. It's not one person's responsibility. And we mentioned this earlier as well, that communication plays indispensable role in ensuring that the two of you play effective role in the upbringing of the word. Now, what could bring friction? There's nothing that should be bringing friction between bringing up a child. It's about communication. Okay, I want him to dress like this. Okay, I don't want him. Okay, let's strike a balance. There will always be a midway course in resolving any issues. The two parents involved in this kind of situation that you have just suggested should moderate themselves into accepting each other's views. That, okay, this is what you are asserting, and this is what I am. What is your interest? Let's ask that question first. The two of you, what is your interest? Is it not to give sound upbringing to the word? So you should be able to play that role first for the baby to really appreciate your position. So it's not an hindrance that you are separated. No. And the law regulates separation. There are certain things that the law expects you to do during the separation, either as the mother or as the father. Those restraints, they are equally there. Those to promote, they're equally there. So I see no reason why there should be a friction or where there should be a situation where the two of you would not agree on the child. So it's an I don't know, it's an extreme situation. If you really love your word, If you really want the best out of him, you curb your own ego. You submerge your ego. You come up and do what will manifest positively in the life of that growing up male.
I'm gonna chip in as a school governor, and also as a parent, and also as a teacher, because I'm a specialist. I'm a qualified specialist tutor for children with special needs, and as a parent, and also as a governor, school governor, being a school governor in primary school, secondary school, going to 15 or 16 years. This in the country, they say for the best interest of the child. And that is why you see sometimes when social service come in, they don't look at your parent view. Yes, they will put into consideration your view. It does not mean that your view will supersede the best interest of the child. So in such situation, whether you are the father that is present now or you are the mother that is present now, what you need to say to your partner is this for the best interest of the child? What is for the best interest of the child? Give your partner. That's why, because sometimes we don't spend a lot of time to study or read things. Go and read the UN Convention of a Child Rights. What a child right is, what is that child supposed to have, and also read the law of every child matters. So when parents are saying, this is how I want it, does that decision you're making, does it align? Because you're in the diaspora. Because when you guys have that friction and something happen, the law will get into position. And if you go to a family court, that is what the family court will use to judge the situation. The child rights, the law of every child matter, and the Children Act. So both of you as a partner, as a husband and wife, should be reading those documents and see whatever you are saying, does it help the best interest of bringing up that child? If you as a father say, I want the child to grow or to come this way, does it in line with what the law says the child should live by? Because if your decision is because of what your interest is or what you feel like, not in line with the law, you're going to have problem. Your child is going to have problem, because at the end of the day, your child will go to school, your child will be in an environment, and that can actually affect that child. So even your culture have to align with the rules and regulation. There are some culture that we implement for a child that is against, and that's how some of us get into trouble in this part of the world. And also, so both of us, both you and your partner or your wife, need to look, does that for the best interest of the child? What is the best interest of the child? We need to make sure the child goes to school. The child is not put in an environment where there's so much argument and frustration, that both parents do not put their own interest first. What is better for the child? Very important. What do that child need at this particular moment to grow to be an independent child? Because they say a confident parent gives birth to a confident child. If you as parents are in that battle of argument and the child is not seeing that fatherly or motherly figure, confident parents, they too will end up becoming, and they start disturbing them. Even then, the school will start asking questions. So I think this is something that you can relate and say, whatever your wife put in place. I've had that conversation with my partner. I said, this thing that you are saying, is it for the child interest or for your own interest? Because our own interest is gone. Once you start having children, yes, we want certain way, but we have to look at the environment where the child is, what the child is doing, and what law change every day. The law that we have in 20th century is not what in the 18th century is not what we're having now. A lot of things has changed. So it has to be for the child best interest. I don't know if we actually answered your question.
Yeah, but most important, parents, the two of them, should resolve to avoid any friction. The moment that one is removed, positive changes comes in.
I don't know if there's any other question. If not, we're going to call it a day. I'm just going to go to the last conversation on our slides. I hope you all had enjoyed this session. It was an honor to have this conversation. Our next topic will be looking at young people, parenting young people, African, because we've seen a lot of social media posts where children are out there calling their parents, African parents, out, that they are not comfortable with the way their African parent has given them emotional trauma, emotional stress. So this is something that we'll be having a panel of young people and also a panel of parents and teachers and also community leaders, and see how we can, because we want to see a better future for ourselves. I'm just going to go to the last thing on our notes is what success look like for boys, role models, skill, discipline, and cultural pride. For family, sharing support and less isolation. And that's something we've actually spelled out a lot.
Yes, a lot.
We are parenting in isolation. I know why some people do that, maybe because they don't, we have this, you don't want somebody to know my secret, you don't want somebody to know what my family is going through. But it's a problem shared, a problem solved. You need to associate yourself with a network of people that will be there to support you. Like now, I don't know, I have a network. If anything happened in my house, there are helpline for my children. Not only the 911 line, but there are helpline for network where who can my child go to and speak to safely within my network of people that I associate myself with. So you need to be able to have that. I think this is not the time that we surrender ourselves with just because we want to have friends. It should be a meaningful set of network, have a meaningful system around us that not only us that will benefit from it, but also our children will benefit from that system. A system whereby our children can be able to approach any of our support friends and speak to them. You know, my children have contact detail of my friends. So if they cannot speak to me, they can actually speak to my friend. And I have that confidence that those people that they can speak to, they can actually come back to me and say, you know what, you are wrong. Can you make amends? This child have said, I will not take that as an offense. I think that's something that we need to learn to do. When our children raise concern to us, that we should not take it as an offense, but look at what way, and we should learn, because that is where the problem comes in. If they don't have that support system within us that they can reach out to, then they will not reach out outside. They say, if you are not there to support, to mentor or support your child, the street will mentor and support your child. And once the street gets involved, your child is gone. Your child is gone. So we need to create that system in place. I think our take for today, create a system whereby even our child cannot speak to us, because this is where we talk about the community. We have to build that community. Our network of friends that we can invite to the house and say, my child, if you treat anything happen and you cannot speak to me, this is Yoruba people say, this is Lagbaja. Go and meet this person, have a conversation with them. And that person will now come back to me and they are able to have a proper conversation, you know, stronger and more cohesive community. Even in the church, we see some church, sometimes people you go to, is the church man that they are biting you. Our pastors, our church leader, our elders, they need to change things, and we have to raise it. That we want our children to be able to go to church, go to mosque, to raise things that in return they can come to our parents and have that conversation. Because if we don't create that safe space, the street will create it. That is where they join gang, they join all. And we've seen some fake faith group that are exploiting our young people, because our young people are looking for a safe place where they can see who to talk to, because they cannot approach us. So I think our take here today, thank you. Our take here today is to call out. We should not be ashamed or afraid if we think the safe place that we create for our children is not working, whether it's a faith system or it's non-faith system, but let's create a safer place for our children to be able to communicate. And also for the parents, because sometimes the workload can be too much we see some dad going through mental health. We don't know, because sometimes mental health play a big role in people not playing their fatherly role. A lot of men don't talk, but women will talk, Women will open our mouth, we will cry. But some men they just keep it to themselves.
Right.
And yes, and they don't say nothing. So it is important that men too, so speak out. If you are going through a lot, you cannot manage, which is making you not to play your father role, speak out so that you can get help. You can get men to men mentor, where another father will father you. Back home, you can go and speak to your uncle. Yeah, we don't have that setting. Don't die alone. Speak out so that you can, because you speaking out, you're saving your child. You're saving your boys, you're saving your girls, because a sound parent can only bring up a sound child. If you are not sound enough, you can't bring up a sound child. So thank you all for joining. It has been an amazing time having this conversation. I'm very passionate about it. You can see the way I'm going and I'm sweating at the same time. It's something because with my role as the chair for Nigerian community in Greenwich, I see a lot of cases in schools, in the community. And as the founder of Black Female Entrepreneurs, I see a lot of Black women coming to me and crying, raising their voice. I think we need to talk more of this and see how we find solution. And I cannot end this show without saying big thank you.
Yeah, but before that, there's on a last note.
Yeah.
Kudos to those fathers who are alive to their responsibilities. I wish you more strength.
Amen.
For those that are failing, I beseech on you, try to discover what works in your family. Try to discover what strengths you have. Yeah, there may be so many incapacities. Finance is there, health is there, and innumerable other challenges. Discover it and find a way to work around those deficiencies, either by seeking additional effort from here and there, so that your boy will know that you are there and that you are not failing him. Please rise up to the occasion. Let us take full charge of our central families so that the society at the end of the day will be better for all of us. Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you, those that have joined us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those that have joined us on Zoom, thank you. Those that have joined us on YouTube, thank you. And I cannot utter my greatest thanks to because you're taking your time. We invite you all the way from Nigeria, and you're taking your time to actually come and join us in the program, which we started since May. I know you were able to join us in June to actually get this program up and running, supporting the Diaspora Parent Week and seeing how we can get our voice out there and support each other. Thank you for your time. And also thank our sponsor, and also thank the RBG for actually supporting the African Festival, which is part of the Kente and Ankara Adire Festival. Thank you all for joining us, and I wish you all good night. My name is Lucy Isaiah, aka Madam CEO, and the founder of Black Female Entrepreneur Greenwich, and also the chair for Nigerian Community Greenwich. It was an honor to be here, and I think I'm missing that. I've not been on live show for a long time, but I think I can see that my spirit is gingery. Thank you, Adaobi, Farida, Esther, Jide, and Damilola. I don't know if I'm missing another person, but thank you for joining us. And I wish you all have a great night. Good night, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Have a good one too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.